make a statement day by day. Y'all better come my way. Y'all better come my way. Okay, and say, y'all better come my way. I'ma make a statement day by day. Peace out, up. Put them in the air, and go rise up.
Welcome to Jam Packed, where we try to pack in as much goodness and dope conversation as we can in the mystery time given. And let's just be real, it helps me stay accountable with my time. I'm your host, Jameela. I have a super amazing treat for y'all. Before I get into that, make sure that you follow us at Jam Packed Show on Instagram. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/jampacked, where you will find all the goodness, all the fun, all the dope conversations. Y'all, without further ado, we have such a dope, amazing treat that they come with their own drink. They are the brains and the grassroots activists behind, and they are also the co-founder, I should say, of Dyke Beer, both a product that honors and celebrates LGBTQIA plus spaces and history, and are event producers that host events throughout New York City like Queeraoke, Dyke Cookouts, and self-defense classes. They are the creators of the Dyke Bar Takeover, which is a group of artists and activists dedicated to creating and supporting anti-racism space for self-identified dykes, queer women, transgender, and non-binary people of all races. Their fundraiser includes local queer nonprofits, paying new queer artists and performers, and creating more Dyke non-binary transgender spaces in New York and throughout chapters throughout the world. And y'all, when they say throughout the world, it really is throughout the world, Canada included. They are working to create spaces for dykes, queers, and straight bars, educational campaigns on lost space and lack of visibility, and funding from covers, pays artists and donates to local queer nonprofits. They recently released their creation, Dyke Beer, which is a tribute to lost Dyke space and aims to create future ones. Y'all, Dyke Beer is sold in various locations in New York City. It is a saison partnered with Wild East Brewing Company in Brooklyn, sold at many craft beer stores and bars throughout the city, with the proceeds going to the future Dyke and queer spaces. Joining us from Brooklyn. Where Brooklyn at? Brooklyn, New York. Folks, I bring to y'all Sarah Hallonquist. Woo!
Oh my God. That's the best introduction I've ever had. That's amazing. Thank you. I'm so excited to be on Jam Packed. I'm so excited. One Dyke Beer fell off the truck and made it to the West Coast.
Yes.
I hope you enjoy it.
My fairy godmother dropped it off.
It's so good. But yeah, I'm ready to have you guys try it. This is like trying my baby. This is like whenever I see a new person trying this beer, it makes me very nervous because I'm like, I hope you like it. I hope you like it. We try to make a good product. And yeah, we try to create good events. So thank you very much for having us on the show.
Yes. Thank you. I'm so excited. I'm like, let me just go ahead and crack it open now.
Yes,
I'm just like,
do it.
The wait is
Cheers.
over. This has been sitting. Yes. Cheers. Cheers. I love the packaging. I love the whole vibe and energy of it. I saw that you guys have merch. I'm like getting completely off topic, but I saw the merch and I was like, I need to get that Dyke Beer shirt. I need to get,
It's very popular right now. Yeah. It's the only thing we have, really. Magnets and T-shirts, but they're wildly popular.
I want to get it before it gets sold out. I feel like it's going to sell out.
I'm going to put one aside for you right now. Yeah, I'm going to put one aside for you. Don't worry.
Yes, please. Yes. Oh my God. It's so amazing. Okay. I'm just going to drink. Bottoms up.
Cheers.
Yes. Cheers. Yes. Cheers. Oh. Ooh wee. Yeah, look at that. The wife came in here because we've been waiting to try this can, and she just, she's like over here like, it's so good. She is loving it. That tastes delicious.
Thank you.
That has all the goodness in there. Like, she is still talking about how amazing it is at the door. She heard me opening the can. It was like, let's do this. Like, I need to drink. I feel like I'm gonna have to split this.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, that's why it's 16 ounces. Maybe you can split with a boo, or like you can just have it for yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Gosh. Yeah, honey,
I'm
get
glad
your
you like
glass.
it.
Go ahead. I'll give you some more. I know she's gonna come back with a glass. Why? But this is really good. And for folks listening, this is a vegan beer.
It is.
This is actually
Yes.
vegan. This tastes
is.
amazing. Oh,
Thank you. Yeah. It's a style not seen a lot in the United States. I mean, if you want me to beer geek out a little bit.
yes, please geek out. Yes.
This beer is originally from farmhouses in France, and the idea was that saison ales could maybe be more hydrating than water, which was an interesting early French concept. And so they were only brewed in the summer, and they take forever. So it takes usually 40 to 45 days for this beer to ferment, whereas most beers take 27. So it's like really a craft labor of love. Like we wanted a beautiful product that takes a long time, that has good ingredients, has local New York State hops. It has great malt in it. We really wanted a beautiful product. And like also in a lot of Dyke bars, they are divey. And so a lot of the beer that you see people drinking, it's PBR, it's Bud Light, it's kind of these old school
trash.
beers.
Just call it what it is.
All right,
trash.
we'll call it what it is. We'll call it what it is.
Yeah.
I gotta hurt all of y'all's feelings in corporate beer, but
I'll call it out because I just tasted Dyke beer and I want a collection of Dyke beer. What's that? Oh, see, so the wife did come back with a glass, and for y'all that are watching,
good.
This is the beauty of what is inside of this can. So she came with her glass because it was that good. And y'all, she's a Gemini, okay? That is hard.
Oh, yeah, that is hard.
Like, I'm geeking out on this whole entire, like, fiesta going on in my mouth. Like, I love...
You know what it is? Like, we did it. Like, it's our community. Like, this is why, like, rainbow capitalism sucks. And, like, we got to produce more, like support and produce things more by queer people, like, for queer people. Like, it's not just a pride beer. You can get this 365 days a year. And like we had a queer label designer, Olive Primo, do the label. And of course, like it is so funny and queer with like the pool table and kind of the elements on here. Like the fact that lesbians love cats and dogs or, you know, like queer people in general, like, you know, it only had to come from like our minds to create this. Like there's no way the 90% of like white cisgender bro breweries could have created Dyke beer or gotten away with it, you know? So it's kind of beautiful for that reason. You know,
that's so true. That's so true. And like, I love French alcohol because I feel like there is a different labor of love and passion that goes into it. And I really love French beer. And that's exactly what this reminds me of. Like, I go to France, I have their beers. Like, I love that. So this is really delightful. I just want to put that
I'm so glad. You know,
especially
especially when everything has to be so, I mean, I feel like with America, it's like Dorito flavors or something. It's like so sour, so hoppy, so funky. And it's like, no, I just want like a good beer that's crushable that I feel like I could drink outside on a patio during Pride, maybe, or like, you know, by the ocean and Fire Island, like something that's like a little bit better, but I can drink multiple ones and I'm not like trying to challenge my taste buds to this like crazy flavor, which I feel like now is the craft beer movement. But I'm so glad you like it. Thank you so much.
I absolutely do. And you know, it is that perfect drink for a hot day, like any occasion, like with dinner, like just chilling outside in the sun. Like this alone would make me want to go to New York because for y'all listening, this is just right now, just for now. I'm just going to manifest it only for now that it's being sold in New York. But is there any potential that it could be sold in LA or...
Oh, we are dying to do this. Recently, only 2 weeks ago, we got our official liquor license so that we now expand. So we are now looking into laws. If we were selling socks, this would be easy.
Right. Everybody would have a sock.
Yeah, it's for you. But like with alcohol, it's so many like lunatic laws that are like really from the Puritan era, if we're being honest, and from Prohibition era even, that you're like, oh God, we need to fill out this like paperwork and prove who we are or whatever. So the first states we want to actually go into, we'll say like on the record, are California, Massachusetts, and DC. three. We have clients waiting for us in all three of those states. And that's the first three that we want to open up to. And there's a lot of dykes in those states. So
yes, there are a lot of dykes. I know my whole softball team would love this. I play on 2 gay softball teams. I call it gay softball. They would love some Dyke beer. I'm just going to put that out there. So we just changed one of the teams. One of the teams is BYOB.
Okay. All right.
And then,
perfect.
and then the other one, I think we just changed our name to Basic Pitches.
Nice.
So
nice.
it's it's very gay softball.
No, I want to bring it to your softball team. I want to bring it to people all over the place. You know, like we even want to expand this internationally. Like we want to have this everywhere. It's just literally lawyers keeping us back.
I will be your pusher. Let me know when it comes to LA. I will do whatever you need me to do. But I think it's also important to note that it comes with this really dope pamphlet. My fairy godmother made sure to also provide this along with the liquor, which is a breakdown of, the stats of lesbian dyke bars and spaces, as well as what the word dyke means and what the remaining, 15, 16 bars that remain. So I really can't wait to get into all of that. I'm just over here geeking out, and I had to catch myself. I was like, this is why I'm like, okay, I have to fix the term of jam-packed and just say it's jam-packed in a certain amount of time, because I get super excited. I love great conversation. So yeah.
No, absolutely. I mean, this is like Loretta and I's favorite topic ever is like lost dyke bars, future dyke bars, anything related to dyke bars. And, like a huge thing out of this project. So going back in time, like 4 years ago, we were part of Dyke Bar Takeover, where we were taking over straight spaces and creating dyke non-binary transgender parties. We were hiring queer artists, a lot of them who wouldn't be hired because they were too butch or burlesque for really the female gaze as opposed to the male gaze. Kind of interesting events that straight bars were like, I don't know if this would really sell tickets, and didn't really understand the queer community. All of the money went to queer nonprofits that we had collected as a cover in the beginning. And so from there, I think when COVID happened, it was like, okay, we can't do events. And we were sort of thinking like, well, what's the next step? Do we want to keep doing this formulaic thing, which we could, or do we want to like expand in some way? And so like the idea of the beer really, which is funny enough, it's for definitely our community, but it's also kind of for straight people to have like visibility and to be like, oh, dyke is like a real identity. And like the pamphlet partially was created because we had so many clients from bars that were like, dyke's a bad word. And, we can't have that. And so we literally needed to create this to be like, no, it's like really an identity. You've had Dykes on Bikes, the Dyke March. You've had like dyke identified events for decades now going on in every major city in the United States. And so it's been really interesting to see the reaction and people like in bars talking about this after we've been in them. And now New York Times recently did like an article on like, why are there only 3 lesbian bars left in New York City? There's a wonderful project called, oh God, I'm going to forget it. No, Lesbian Bar Project. That's it. That's doing a documentary right now about the last bars. They went to every single one and talked to all the owners, and they talked to the patrons. And now we're really talking about this because, you know what, this year we're saying like, this is bullshit. Like we deserve space. And so the difference between us really and Lesbian Bar Project is Lesbian Bar Project, which we agree with, are into like landmarking these spaces or saving these spaces or making sure they still exist in the future. But like Loretta and I want like future bars. Like we want to have a nice rooftop bar, cocktail bar, swim up bar. We want like everything for ourselves. Like everything straight people have, we want in a dyke bar. And so eventually we would love this concept to turn into like a brew pub where we have like a brewery bar type of thing in Brooklyn.
5-year plan. The 5-year
plan. The 5-year plan. You've got it. Exactly. Yeah. But I mean, let's be real, in LA or in New York, real estate is dramatically expensive. And so it's just going to take some time to get there. But that would be the ultimate goal, is to create more space for us, and great space, like space where you walk in and you think, oh, gaycation. Like I feel at home. I feel beautiful. I feel like I can get a great drink, like we deserve that, because right now I mean, Henrietta Hudson's did do a recent renovation that's gorgeous, but most of these bars on this list are dives. They are. I love a good dive bar. I'm sure like everybody does, but like, yeah, like maybe like you want to go to a nice cocktail bar with your partner. Maybe you want to go to like just be outside on a patio somewhere, you know, like these are simple things that we don't have access to. And when you start talking out loud about it, you're like, this is terrible. But like, we're just so used to getting the worst and being like, oh, because you have the worst, this is okay. And it's like, no, we deserve to have like better and better for generations ahead of us. And I think in our generation, I imagine you're around my age, I'm 35, but you know, like we've got to help out like Gen Z, you know what I mean? Like, I think Gen Z deserves better things too. And like, I don't want them just to be on like the phone all the time. Like I want people to meet in real life, you know, like I want people to meet friends. I want people to have just like sit in a space, even in their even if they're in the closet, and just feel like themselves for once. Like these spaces provide so much for so many people. And it's so hard sometimes to explain that to straight people who are like, well, everything's assimilated now. And like, you have laws protecting you guys. And it's like, yeah, it's not the same. Like when people are looking for romance, it is not a good idea to hit on a straight woman in a bar, assuming, you know, like we need space to do these things. And, you know, we fully believe in this. And so we're happy to create these spaces. And now with like the bars our beers in, we're happy to create like these events. Like the Queeraoke event is wildly popular. We're going to do a Lost Dyke Bar walking tour throughout the West Village, which is like, oh, there's so many spaces we've lost. There are so many beautiful, gorgeous, wonderful spaces. And it's horrible because when you go to like where the Lost Dyke Bar is, like one of them is a Starbucks. One of them is like a dog daycare center. Like, it's like, what is the West Village then? You know, like we have this romantic idea of like the piers, Stonewall. I mean, like so many things that happen. I mean, even Cubbyhole is like 4 decades years old or something. And so, you know, we deserve to still have this be like a gayborhood and a queer space for people as well. And that doesn't need to disappear. And so, yeah. And of course we don't learn this history. We never learn it in school. We always have to be our own researchers and librarians and internet sleuths and all this just to find this information. And it's important to us. And, you know, I think because we're not given this information, it's even more vital to be like, why? Like, why? And there's not a lot of books written about us. There's not a lot of movies. Why do we just have the L Word? Why is there not a new L Word series every year from one major network? You know, like it can be any series of dramatic events between lesbians and transgender people and bisexual women. Like it can be anything, like any city, anywhere, any number of things. But we have like a million straight shows that have like the similar thing going on. Like we have 95 Real Housewives shows, but like
nothing with the nothing you know? Like true to the lesbian community. Yeah, I completely get it, and I really love that you know you and you know, I believe you kind of touched on it a little bit, how you guys started with the Dyke Bar Takeover. You and Loretta, the other co-founder of the Dyke Bar Takeover, as well as co-founder of Dyke Beer, you both had met at the NYC Dyke Bar Takeover, which still exists, and it was more of a collective that Loretta had co-founded, and you were actually working the door, and that's how you two met. And then created Dyke Bar Takeover after that. And I love that, as you were saying, taking over these predominantly straight spaces and creating that space for queers and for the queer community and for dykes and, you know, whoever feels like they need that space. You know, we don't have those spaces where it's in LA and throughout the country. And like you said, these are lost bars and lost spaces that are that were kind of the core of continuing this sense of community throughout the entire family of the LGBTQ plus community. And I love that in the pamphlet, you actually write down a lot of these stats of, you know, in 1980, there were 200 dyke lesbian bars, and now there's only 16. You know, and so, and And that's very interesting. That was a very interesting stat. And I think at some point you had mentioned there were 63,000 bars altogether in the United States, and 15 were Dyke bars.
And that's like amazing to like hear out loud, because you know what I think it is, like in Hollywood or like all these like TV shows or movies, like anything with like a lesbian character in it, they're always going to some bar and it's like, where is this? Like, it's just an imaginary bar. It's just like something Hollywood made up. Like there's this idea that these spaces exist and they just simply do not. They exist for gay men. Now there are 43 plus growing gay men bars in New York City, but then there were 3 for dykes or lesbians. And so, God, it's just like the patriarchy in that sentence is just so overwhelming, that we just deserve more space overall. I mean, there's so many of us that are out and so many of us wanting the space and so many of us patronizing the space. And I think the real issue is just visibility, simple, that bankers don't think of us, real estate people don't think of us, investment people don't think of us. And it's like, well, we exist and have jobs and have money and go places. And so if you want to, capitalists, like build a space for us, the people will come, in my opinion. But it depends on the concept. It depends how many queer people you have working it and what events or what kind of thing you have going on as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's play a quick round of the interrogation. Dun, dun, dun. Now, Sarah says that we are an open book and we will see how much of an open book you are down to share. So if you don't want to answer, again, just ask for your attorney and then you take a sip. But if you do answer, I get to drink some more of this goodness.
Ooh,
I just keep wanting to pose with it. I'm just like, yes.
Oh, please do.
I love it. All right, first question. Have you ever gotten drunk before noon?
Before noon? You know, I don't think I have, though. I actually don't think I have. I have to admit, I'm not like a very good brunch person, so I feel like that's where it would be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I get to take a drink, yes. I've been trying to drink it like sparingly just because I've got this can, the one can. I'm like, this tastes so good though. I want another one. Okay, next question. Have you ever gotten drunk alone?
I think I have, yeah. My partner's French and goes away for like 6 weeks. So I'm like by myself for a long time. And so, yeah, I think that's happened.
I love it. Yes. All right. I already took my drink, but I'll take it. Let's see. Would you pop the blister of a rando?
Oh, no. I mean, I live in New York already. Like, I can barely touch like a subway pole, Oh, gosh.
Yeah. How has that been with the pandemic, being in New York? There's a lot of people that go to New York in general.
A lot.
And things are consistently...
Yeah, it was, like in the beginning, like this time last year, it was so frightening. Like the idea of taking the subway was like, absolutely not. I mean, and then going in the grocery store, it was like the scariest thing ever because there was already so many people in line. So many people were closed. So many like things were closed, like restaurants and that sort of thing. I was like crazy. Somehow I did not get COVID and I was like washing my groceries and I was like, oh my God, I was like a crazy person, like hand sanitizing all the time. And I have 3 stepkids and they were like still going to school with like masks on. I was like, oh my goodness. Yeah, I was stressed. And so somehow we made it. Like, I don't know, but we were also doing like Black Lives Matter protests and like different things here where I think after doing that too, it was like, okay, if I haven't gotten it doing Black Lives Matter and Queer March, maybe the mask and the hand washing like just works and I'm just going to go with it. And so I've just kind of been flying on that since getting the vaccine. But it was honestly so frightening and the city emptied out so much and it was just crazy to see. Like if you just walked around and you saw that there was like a child's playground with like nobody on it, like in New York, you're so used to seeing so many people everywhere that then to not see that was like actually, like, I think the scariest part.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think it's a different thing in LA because you guys have cars. And so you're not like, oh my God, I have to walk
public
transportation. Public transportation. Yeah. Yeah. It's bad.
I think I probably would freak out now that you've like, now that you've pushed so light. I feel like I probably would freak out. I've been to New York and I was kind of low key freaking out just pre-COVID, because there's so many people, so many germs, so many, so many things going on, but you just kind of wing it. But you definitely look at germs and bacteria and the cold and the flu just very differently now. And, I had a friend ask me, are you still going to wear a mask? Like even afterwards? I was like, yes, I look at these things differently now.
Spending winter here, I'm definitely wearing a mask. I'm like, don't ask me any questions. Like between flu season, cold season, and the fact that it's freezing here and like that gust of wind in your face and you're covered up. It's like luxury now. Mask. Like, exactly.
That's where all the warmth is. Hot breath just keeping you warm.
I will survive.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. Let's play a little bit of Storytime Remix. We are going to do the lesbian Dyke Bar Storytime Remix. So we've got to come up with names off the top of our head going from A to Z, and it has to start with that letter of the alphabet. So we'll go back and forth, and then if one of us can't think of it quick enough, we've got to take a drink, and then the other person will take the letter.
Okay.
So this is going to be interesting because this is going to be interesting is all I can say. And so I would love, like, this is in the spirit of manifesting and trying to manifest more lesbian dyke spaces. This is really just
everyone watching create all of these bars, all 26 that we mentioned, just create them. Just go for it. Exactly.
Absolutely. Write it all down. What I should do is I'll try to keep track of all the names that we come up with. Because this is going to be awesome. So I will give you A, and I'll take.
Ooh, A is a tougher one because like with B you can do like Butch's Bar or like Button Up Bar, something like that. A, I would say. Am I taking too long? I want to say like aesthetics, like it's like a new aesthetic, like it's a better, but like something gay though. It needs to be something queer. I'm losing. I'm losing.
Okay. All right. So I'll take A. Let's see. Asexual being.
Ooh. Okay.
Shit, I'd go there.
Being. All right. Yeah.
Sexual being. Yeah. I'll let you have B.
All right. Because B has so many good names. When you have just Butches already, that you could call it Butchies, you could call it Butch's Bar. There's supposed to be actually a Butch Judy's in New York. I don't know if they're going to open or not, but that would be another great name. I know. And I'm such a fan of colored button-ups that I just call it button-ups and everybody would know automatically.
Yes.
That's like where to go. Like, we gotta go to button-ups now. Like, all right, I know what that is.
I love that. I would go to button-ups after softball practice. Like, that would be amazing. Okay, cool. I like that. Button-ups. C. Ooh. This is just for dyke lesbian spaces. Let's see. Ooh. I'll let you have C. I can't think of anything quick enough.
I know, because we already have Cubbyhole, and in the past there used to be, a bar actually referred to as the clit, and then a bar also referred to as the cunt as well. Shit. I think there's some nasty, nasty named bars that we could come up with. But I think something like with cats, like the cats meow, because like so many dykes are into having kitties, like that it'd have to be like cat something, like cat attack or like cat bar. And you'd be like, okay.
Cat bar.
Like we got a good cat bar.
I would call it like the pussycat bar. But that's just Or clits are us. Let's see.
See, people keep asking us if our future bar name will just be Dyke Bar, and I'm like, we got to get more creative than this. You know what I mean? But you could have like Dyke Energy, like you could go off like the Dykon. I think is
Big
a great
Dyke
one.
Energy. That should have been the Big Dyke Energy.
That should have been the B. Because, well, the one good thing about having Dyke in the name is then it's so clear that it can't be taken over by gay cisgender men. Like it's like, nope. Dyke's in the name, like you're out of here, like so yeah, something like that. Or it could be, there's a neighborhood in New York called Dyker Heights, and so some very confused people wonder if Dyke beer is for Dyker Heights. So it'd be funny to like make something with Dyker Heights bar and then be like, no, it's actually not for the neighborhood, it's for something else.
Oh shit, I like that. Let's see, Dyke. Ooh. Ooh. All of a sudden I'm feeling like stumped, like how I was. Like I played this game with hip hop lyrics, and I was really stumped. Like I love hip hop and different songs. Like I just could not think of anything, and trying to think of a D. Dyke. Dikery. Like a brewery, but like a dikery.
Yes. Actually, I'm into that. I'm really into that. Yes.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
Yes. Yes.
I love
All right,
it.
your turn. Mm-hmm.
All right. So I have E. I would say exes because so many dykes are friends with their exes or like running into their exes all the time. That
everywhere you go.
Be a really funny name for a dyke bar. And everyone would just be like #relatable. Like, just, I don't know.
Or X. Oh goodness. Okay. So F, let's see. So far we have asexual being, button-ups, cat bar, dikery, and X's.
Yeah, this is already quite the list. Like I want to say something like fresh, like I want to say something like even Dyke beer is kind of fresh and we are kind of fresh, but like it would have to be fresh something maybe, like that's like fresh and nasty. It's like fresh and femme. Ooh, fresh femme? Femme fresh?
I like that. I like
something
that.
For the femmes? Yeah.
Yeah.
They gave something
that
to the
is very
something
femme friendly.
For the femmes,
Yeah. I like that.
There's a bar here that's a femme forward bar called Pink Metal, and that's like a really great name, I think, for like a femme bar. It's like you're badass, but you're also into pink. Feel you. Yeah. I support you.
Yes. I love that. Fresh and femme. I like that. Okay, so G.
Ooh. God, I want to be like gay cisgender men not allowed. Like I just I want to just I
would probably, I don't know what the trademark infringement would be, but girls just want to have fun.
Oh, that's way better. Yes. That's actually hilarious too. Yes. Ooh, yeah, that's a good one actually. Yeah. Girls just want to have fun because they do. Like, let us have fun. Yeah.
Yes. Without all the other.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
H. Let's see.
Have to be like hot something. Like, I don't know. Because it's got to be like hot dyke, hot lesbian, hot femme, hot butch, hot. Yeah, hot and
cold.
Ooh, hot and cold. Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh,
Or it's
okay.
something like so fucking dykey. Like what's like the
yeah.
dykiest thing you can think of? Like,
Hotties.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hot.
Ooh.
Hotties. No. Hot.
Yeah. Hot, like a hot cookout. Like what do dykes like to do? They like to have
what do we
cats and
like to do?
cookouts and read
Hook up?
books and
The hookup?
Yeah. Oh, the hookup is hot. The hookup.
The
Yes,
hookup.
that's it. The hookup.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I love it.
I love it. Oh.
Let's see.
Hey. I feel like this could be somebody's old school name, like Idas or Ivies or something, like an old school big old dyke, like kind of like the Butch Judy's name, where like Judy feels like an old school like godmother to like the queer family or some shit. Like it's just one of these like old school dyke names. You're just like, we're going down to Butch Idas or like we're going down to like some weird stuff. You kind of like Henrietta's really.
What about Invisible? The island or Invisible Femme Island.
Oh, yeah.
The Invisible Femmes out here feeling very invisible.
Yeah, I would say that's interesting. Invisible Femme. Yeah, that'd be much better.
Invisible Femme.
Ooh,
yeah. Ooh, these are good ass names. Anybody that is funding bars,
correct,
for the queer space, please, let's do
Make it happen. Yeah, pray.
Let folks know where you got the idea from Sarah and Jam.
Here first.
Exactly. Let's see, Jay. Ooh, so I am slightly impartial to it, but. So my friends call me Juicy, so I would probably say Juicy or Juicy Fruit, but I don't know,
Juicy.
like Juicy.
Yeah, I actually like Juicy because it's kind of like naughty. It's like oh,
you never know. I'm going to Juicy tonight. What?
Yeah, that's like crazy. Yeah,
that's where shit goes down for real.
They would have like a neon peach sign, I think, too. It would be like so cute. Yeah, absolutely.
I love it.
Ooh, juicy.
Let's see, K.
K's a harder one. I went to a great bar in Germany called Kit Kat Club, and it was like I had never been to a bar where I saw naked women just walking around. Like it wasn't even like advertised, nothing. Like it was clothing optional. It was like Euro trash, like dance floor. They had just a room full of beds and just like art that like when you were high, you could just like watch it from the bed. I mean, like this place was nuts. I mean, so that was like the first thing that went to my head was Kit Kat Club because that is like the craziest queer bar I've ever been to in my life. And the largest one too. Yeah, that was an experience. God. It'd have to be like Kit Kat Club 2. It'd have to be like
Kit Kat Club 2.
Kit Kat Club, Tokyo Drift. Kit Kat Club.
Oh shit. I love it. I love it. Let's do that. Kit Kat Club 2. Dos. Let's see. L. Ooh.
L. Oh, there's so many like lesbian something. It's like let's just lesbian. It's like lesbian. Yeah.
What about Lesbos Island? Like in Greece, Lesbos Island. I didn't know that was like a real thing. Like until like a lot, like in my earlier gay years, I was like, oh shit, like that makes sense. But you learn things when they happen.
No, it's true. I think they still do have a lesbian bar on there too. It's called like the Beaver or something, like very magical. Yeah.
I love that so much. So are we do we like Lesbos Island or
Yeah, I feel like that'd be good because that would like confuse straight people. They're like, Greek restaurant? And you're like, no.
Right. Come on in.
This is not what this is.
Welcome to Lesbos. Welcome to Lesbos Island.
Yeah.
Right. How can we?
That would totally be my swim up bar concept too.
Yes.
That would like pool party in the back. I'm into it.
Yes. Have you ever been to Mykonos? Mykonos is like the just pride island of Greece. It's like gay turn up. Like y'all should go, and I don't know if Greece is looking for beer, but they need some Dyke beer.
They're not ready. Yeah, they do. I mean, yes. Yeah, absolutely. We're trying to turn up to Dinah Shore, actually, too. Speaking of like places, Dinah was like, we don't know if we want any more beer, but we're really thinking about just like getting a local bar restaurant to just like host us and maybe just like sell out of there. But we're trying to figure it out still. But that would be awesome. Like we would love to be a Dinah. So I mean, that'd be amazing. A crash into the California scene right there.
I would love that. That would be the welcome to California. You need Dyke beer in your life. And for y'all listening or watching, like this is strong and I love it. It is like perfect. It is getting me there. This is a true delight right here. I'm like sparingly sipping, which is very rare. I'm like, oh man. I just want to sip. I'm just this is so good. Okay, so we're on M. M.
I feel like munchies or something like something about munching, you know,
I like that. Ooh, I want to go to Munchies.
Yeah.
Are you going to Munchies after the game? I love it. Do you ever like when y'all were coming up with Dyke beer as the name, did you like try to use it in a sentence and see if that worked, like if it sounded good to your ears, or how did y'all come up with Dyke beer as the name?
It was just so much like hilarity, really. Like I feel like there's already a product out there called gay beer, and part of that was an inspiration to be like, wouldn't it be hilarious if there was like a Dyke beer? And it's like, why isn't there a Dyke beer? And we were sort of just like looking around, and we realized there was no product that existed somehow, no trademark ever in the United States. And so we were like, why don't we just do this? Okay. Like that's going to be the name, Dyke beer. And I think it's kind of like bum. Like when I think sometimes with like long beer names, you're like, oh God, I can't even remember what I just drank because it's 10 sentences long. And so, but you can remember Dyke beer, you know? Yeah, it's catchy.
I love the name, and it gets the attention, and it's so fucking
straight to the point.
It's straight to the point. The alcohol is straight to the point. The name is straight to the point. It's perfect. Let's see. N.
I want to say like nasty girl. I want to say like nasty, you know, like nasty butch, like nasty non-binary. Like shout out to the non-binaries, you know? Like my business partner is non-binary, so I had to be like, hey.
I love that. Yeah. I love that. Ooh. So nasty non-binary or just non
yeah, let's go nasty non-binary. Let's give one to non-binary folks out there. You get a name. Ooh,
yeah. Ooh, I like that. I want to go to nasty non-binary. The turnip is real at nasty non-binary.
Yeah, that sounds like it has like a great dance floor or something in it.
Yeah, like the best dance floor in town. Just the turnip is real at nasty non-binary.
Oh yeah, you're gonna see some cuties up in there.
Yes. We're like, what's your name? Let's do this. What's going on? Let's see. Ooh, the O. Or the big O.
Ooh, the big O. I know. The big O. True. Like orgasms for once. Like orgasms. You know? That would have to be like a kink bar concept, though. That would have to be like a play party and like a bar within it. Yeah. So you were like, otherwise people would be doing crazy things in that bathroom. You'd be like, hello.
Oh my gosh.
I gotta use this. Like,
that would be the Abbey, just everything the Abbey is. Have you ever been to the Abbey in WeHo? I
have not. Oh my God. Describe the Abbey to me. Like as a patron of the Abbey.
As a patron. Well, it's very interesting because it almost kind of goes to what one of the many factors are of why there are so many lost dyke spaces, which is it's a boys' town gay bar. It's male focused. You have a bunch of boys. Every once in a while, you might have a sprinkle of anybody else, but it's really primarily gay boys, and that's their thing. And I mean, LA, I feel like there used to be other bars focused. Yeah, there was the girl bar. There were other spaces, but now it's just more so like dedicated nights, like Fantasy Fridays and this and that and all these other dedicated spaces, but not necessarily a bar, even though they're
you can go to all
kind
the
of
time.
Focused as a gay bar, as an LGBTQ bar,
And, that's insane because it's like the second most populous city in the United States. And like the fact that there isn't really one, I've seen a lot of articles written about this, that everyone's like in disbelief. It's like, why isn't there just one? And it could be almost in any neighborhood, to be honest, I'm sorry to hear that. Sucks.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, it's rough because, you hear it from other folks. Everybody that's not a gay boy that wants to go to West Hollywood and have a good time, they're like, but where are our spaces? Where do we go?
Oh, yeah.
Like we need a Dyke Bar Takeover so badly in LA in the sense of consistency outside of your regular nightclub vibe,
Absolutely.
Like a bar to hang out, like
totally,
have that moment.
That's another element too of like nightlife, where I think some people think about gay bars and they automatically think about like this dance floor, the strobe lights, the unsuns type of thing. And sometimes we just want a place to just like hang out and talk to a friend, like to happy hour and stuff. And I think that's like just as important and more important to many other generations who don't want to be out till 1 a.m, which is like totally fine.
Yeah.
And so, absolutely. You guys just need like a bar to hang, not necessarily like get ripped like every day too. So I got it.
Exactly. Like when I go with my softball teammates, we go to, maybe a straight bar or a straight restaurant that's a brewery, but there's these straight spaces, but it's not a dedicated space for us. But I love what y'all are doing in the message and the pamphlet, the beer, everything that y'all are doing. And I know one of the things that you had mentioned before, one of the many factors of why there's lost spaces is the gentrification. The patrons didn't want to charge, they want to make it exclusive, or because of online dating, or it wasn't a youthful type of vibe, so there were house parties instead, or like we had mentioned before, it wasn't a safe space. You don't feel welcome in those straight bars, or as well as what we mentioned, those Boytown gay bars, and that it's male focused. For folks that are listening, how can they, if they want to be a part of the solution instead of contributing to the many different factors of why it's such a lost space, what would you tell them?
I would say, one interesting case, which is the most extreme, might be in Chicago. The fact that their gay neighborhood is actually called Boys Town. And there is a huge activist movement to change the name because understandably you have so many new genders that have come out, and then like people are now finally accepting non-binary folks or agender folks and this sort of gender expression. And yeah, you've always had like lesbians and bisexual women and queer women too. And so like where does this entire population fit into something called Boys Town? And it's created honestly a very toxic space where there used to be 2 apparently very great Dyke bars that went under. And now Chicago is an interesting case because the real estate isn't that high. So they could have been saved, I think. I think it wasn't quite like in LA or New York where it's like, oh God, this went up to $12,000. It was just this idea that they were like pushed out as far as what I'm understanding from reading it. And so one way is for these bars to remain and survive, we do need to support them. And so we do need to go, we do need to like tip our bartenders. We do need to, and if you're too young, if you're like 18 years old and you're like, what can I do? Like you can buy merch. You can buy like a sweatshirt that says Cubby Hole or hat that says Henrietta Hudson's and like at least support them that way. I think also if you're really thinking about like, if this is for somebody who's maybe wealthier, more connected, like if you are thinking about creating a space, like to do it, like if you actually have the capital and capacity and you want to do it and you have the ability to hire staff and get a full bar and everything, people will come. I think after quarantine and so much of our work being on the phone and the computer, people really want to go into real life spaces. They want to meet friends. They want to meet romantic partners. They want to be in real spaces. And like, yes, I believe truly if you build it, they will come. Some of these bars that we're talking about on the sheet, they're in the middle of nowhere. There's one that's in Mobile, Alabama, for real. And so like if Mobile, Alabama can do it, I think we can do it. And the other thing is really supporting people who are in trouble. So one of those bars is gone now. The Toasted Walnut was the last one in Pennsylvania. It was in Philadelphia. And they have like a very, very large neighborhood in Philadelphia. They have all rainbows on the street signs. It's really, like an area. And to not have a Dyke bar in there, I think is a real, real tragedy. What happened with this particular bar is the owner got cancer and couldn't afford payments for healthcare. So she had to give up her bar because the landowners wouldn't give her a break, even though she had, health problems and all this. She has a GoFundMe up. Her name's Denise Cohen. And yeah, there are stories like this that like our bars are lost because of, healthcare costs. I mean, it's unbelievable. And so kind of learning these stories and, like helping people in our community is so necessary. And like, yeah, you might not feel like, oh, giving $5 to Denise's fund makes any sense, but it does. Like it's helpful in like a little way. And so yeah. I think a lot of people in our generation are like, what can I do to lead? What can I do to help? And we have this idea of like, Hunger Games, like Mockingbird style. Like we all need to be like the one doing this. But like, no, it could be like a lot more chill than that. It can be about like $5 donations, like voting for people who aren't terrible. It can be like a lot simpler than that. Or even have like just a conversation with like straight people in your life to be like, so we don't have a lot of visibility and we're losing a lot of space and this is important to me. Would you be willing to like help me start a Dyke Bar Takeover chapter? It can be these little things that help communities. And, so I would say, don't put all the pressure on yourself to be like, I need to start my own nonprofit. I need to start my own this, that, the other thing. You just need to do these smaller step things that add up to something much bigger in the end. And then you're still helping, Yeah. That's what I would say.
Absolutely. I love that. And,
sorry, long-winded answer.
No. I love it. And, and for folks that are listening, pay attention to the part where Sarah also mentions the Dyke Bar chapter, the Dyke Bar Takeover chapter. You can be a chapter ambassador representative. There's a chapter in Canada where you take over a straight space. So if you need that guidance, but you have that vision of wanting to create a Dyke Bar takeover in your town, no matter where it is, I had to repeat myself for the people in the back.
Anywhere on Earth. Yeah.
Anywhere on planet Earth.
That's correct.
If you want to do a Dyke Bar takeover chapter, hit up Sarah and make it happen. Make it
Absolutely.
happen. And on top of that, hit me up and let me know that you started a chapter so we can talk about it. Because I think it's so important that we create these spaces and that we're in unison and that we're, almost in the sense of united front of, and it really does feel like the Hunger Games. That resonated with me deeply when you said that. It feels like the Hunger Games, outside of already having to fight people for toilet paper during the pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
God forbid you're another LGBTQ plus person that's trying to create a queer space and you're like, we're beefing. We can do this together. We can do this
Absolutely.
together. And, I know often, and I feel like often y'all in New York, you guys, y'all have so many amazing spaces that I feel that I wish LA had.
We can bring it. I'm telling you, we can just start right now. It's just a matter of, which I understand that everybody's working and busy and has childcare and whatnot. And you just have to, somebody just has to take a torch and lead it. That's all. Somebody just has to take a torch and make sure you advertise the event on social media. And then, you're leading and you're working with the bar and coordinating and letting them know, there's going to be 300 dykes that show up here. You cool with that? And so it doesn't take a lot, but it does take a little bit of work. And I get it when you're asking people to volunteer and not get paid for this sort of thing. It's really out of the kindness of your heart and activism and grassroots care for the community. But I think if you've got the right spirit, soul, that sort of thing, it's very rewarding in the end.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And especially when you hear people met their partners at one of your events, or I met my best friend, or that's awesome. I'm so glad to create that for people, because I think that's hard to do online. It's too difficult. And so in reality, then you can feel everybody's energy and get the vibe and, connect in a different way.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, I know we've been talking about Dyke this, Dyke that, but I love that y'all, and I had mentioned it earlier, that y'all have the definition of Dyke and what it means and the history of it. And I love that y'all provide that history. And I just wanted to share this. And this comes straight from the pamphlet, that before I just think that it's important to mention, as we're using this word Dyke, that it's important to mention the definition, the reference, all of that good stuff. And again, when you get your Dyke beer, it comes with the pamphlet. So, there you have it. The term first appears in an August 1921 article in the Journal Medical Review of Reviews titled "The Fairy and the Lady Lover." In this article, Perry M. Lichtenstein, is that how you say the last name?
I think so. Yeah, old school science, dude.
Yeah, that is super old school. A prison, who was a prison physician in New York City, reports on the case of a female prisoner he examined. And he said she stated that she had indulged in the practice of bull dyking, of air quotes, quote unquote, bull dyking, as she termed it. The etymology of bull dyke is also obscure. It may be related to the late 19th century slang use of dyke, which is ditch, for vulva, and bull, meaning male cattle, being used in the sense of masculine and aggressive. I thought that history part of it was very interesting, because I did not know that deeper term of it. And then later, the term appeared in the Harlem Renaissance novels in the 1920s to describe queer female characters such as Tropic Death. Until the 1960s, dyke was a slur and seen on pulp lesbian novels, or used as a derogatory term by homophobic straight folks. And the 1960s was the beginning of the Cultural Revolution in America, with feminism, Black rights, and LGBTQ plus rights, where dyke then was recognized as a term of empowerment and self-identity. This led to the Dyke magazine, Dyke March, Dyke parties, Dyke zines, Dyke bars. The 1990s changed the term to mean radical, political, queer women who may identify as lesbian, bisexual, pansexual. Dyke continues to develop as an identity throughout history. Have you heard any flack or seen, or have y'all gotten any flack for using the word dyke for the beer?
It's funny because it's mostly from the queer community, if you can believe it, that I think there's some internal policing that people have an idea of what the identity should mean to everybody. But it's funny because I had a conversation with somebody who loves the beer and said, when you call somebody a dyke, you don't really know what you're calling them, right? Like it can be almost like this anything queer term at this point, because you can be transgender and identify as a dyke, non-binary and identify as a dyke. You can be really butch, really femme. It can be this whole range of things as like a human being. And so, there were a lot of people that were saying, I posted an article about bisexuals using the word dyke and you can be a bisexual dyke. And oh my God, we got all these comments of, no, you can't. It's only a lesbian term. You only have to be lesbian identified. And I was like, we don't believe that. That's just not true. Yeah. And so I think even in our own community, we have messed up things that we have like biphobia in our own community. We have, certainly transphobia in our own community. And it's like, we recognize like lesbians are definitely a huge part of this, but like not the only human beings or not the only identities identified under the dyke umbrella. And I think that was upsetting for like a lot of, not like a lot, but like a small amount of people on the internet to hear. But we're all about inclusion, like honestly. And the only reason I'm uninclusive of like gay cisgender males in this is because I feel like they're so horrible to us sometimes. Not everybody, but like when, I'm going to certain bars in Hell's Kitchen, it's really aggressive. They clearly don't want us in there. We have a map actually of like everywhere Dyke Beer is in New York. And there's a huge gap in Hell's Kitchen because like everybody was so rude to us, like in pretty much all the bars. And so, we would like to change that. And we would like to be like, dykes could come here. You could serve something called Dyke beer to gay cisgender men, it should be inclusive, but there are some bars that have done better than others. And I feel like those are bars more in Brooklyn that have been more queer friendly or run by gay men or more dyke friendly. That's a huge issue in our community is this like idea of policing and what space belongs to who. And it's really crazy when you get into identities and like other people policing their identity and just being like, listen, folks, like if this is the person's gender identity and sexual orientation, like you can't fight that because like this is what this person feels. And like full stop, that's it. And so we want Dyke beer to be for a lot of people who are left behind after this like gay cisgender male thing, and like Dyke beer is kind of for you, That's how I feel about it.
Yeah. No, I really love that y'all were actually rooted so deeply in activism before creating the takeover. So there's an intention and a mindfulness of everything that you're doing. And it wasn't until my deep dive of research on Dyke beer and all that y'all are doing that I had even heard the term terf. That was the first time I had ever heard about that. And I think the really episode, and I think the episode before this episode, I mentioned that I had learned it from you, from something that you had mentioned. For folks that are listening, I think it's really important for them to understand what else is going on in the community because there's so much going on. And I don't know if because you're on the East Coast, y'all are so much more advanced than us. No,
like that's not true. That's not true.
I feel like we're so behind on what's going on, and maybe because we're just so into what we're doing in our regular everyday lives that I really want folks to understand what's going on in this large family of our LGBTQ plus family. And you kind of touched on it a little bit of the transphobia that's going on.
Absolutely. So TERF actually stands for, and it sounds like a fun term. The back of it is radical feminist, but it's trans exclusionary radical feminist. And so these tend to be older folks, if we're honest, and more of a baby boomer generation who do not understand a newly out group of non-binary and transgender folks. A lot of them tend to be butch women. They do petition on college campuses to get recruits and they pass around information online or in pamphlets about how, being transgender is wrong, how people regret having their surgeries, how they're just confused. And what's amazing about this is gay people who are already part of a sexual orientation, where we're always dealing with these issues of it's not a choice and trying to convince, like our governments that we have the right to exist. And so to create this like hateful monologue that transgender and non-binary people don't deserve to exist, they don't deserve to be part of the community, is so disgusting. And there's quite a few people doing this. And so I'm going to say with caution, like there are a lot of like horrible Facebook pages and Tumblr sites, and you'll see the information online and the jokes and the memes and all these things at transgender expense. I mean, it's just page after page of like disgust and filth. And so, yeah, like real trigger warning there, because, honestly, like our community is spending so much time on hate, and some of the people have real groups with real capital that are working alongside of conservatives and Republicans to stop transgender bathroom laws or to stop transgender folks participating in sports in high school. And it's so like scary to see, actually.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And these are folks in the community as well that are a part of these groups.
That's right. Like, so these are, and I really believe if we're looking at it from a personal and psychological level, of most of these lesbian identified folks, maybe they feel this way inside and they just are suppressing it, and they're really butch, and maybe they feel like they want to transition, but they can't transition, and to take it out in this hateful way on everybody else and, take away everybody else's like rights and dignity. I mean, it's so horrible. Like, I guess I don't think this way. So like me even talking about it and me even looking at these sites, like I can't even believe like a person would take their time to be like so hateful, especially when with sexual orientation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you've already gone through such a struggle to get your rights and to like get people to care about you. Like, why are you like agreeing with people to take away like other people's rights in the same way? Yeah. It's insane. So transgender and non-binary people exist, have the right to exist, all the TERFs just need to like go away. Like, get out.
I mean, that was a whole new world, because I was like, wait, I've never heard of this. Like, I need to do some research. And that's a whole new world of just hate and nastiness.
Absolutely.
Of what exists out there. But I think it's important to talk about the good and the bad of what's going on in the community, and how we can, again, also be a part of the solution and try to help and try to do better out here. Let's see. I know we still haven't finished our game. That game was getting tricky.
It's true. It's all right. There's 26. I mean, like that's fun. Yeah.
Whoever thought the alphabet would be so difficult? Let's see if we can squeeze out a little bit more before we wrap up. Sure. Did we agree on the big O for O, or?
Oh yeah, we can agree on
the big O. Okay, the big O. The big O. Who doesn't want a big O? I learned I was watching, Couples Retreat on VH1. I've got to balance myself with Ratchet TV and like good stuff.
No, I get it.
Yeah. They were talking about there are 15 different ways to get an orgasm. 15 different ways to get an orgasm. I was like, I like to explore, but that 15, that's a lot. That's like double digits.
That is a lot. Yeah.
That is double digits right there. So I thought that was
it's amazing how much we're still learning about our bodies. Like how much like we don't know, especially about the female body, like how we just don't know. After all this time of being humans on Earth and medical care and everything, we just don't know. Yeah,
we still don't know. It's just like,
we don't know. Like 15,
I'll try a little bit of this.
2021.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was like some tantric yoga person who used to be a Detroit stripper, conveniently. It was very
like an interesting person. Okay, nice.
I was like, my wife was like, you should have her on Jam Packed. I was like, I was thinking the same thing. Let's see. Letter P. Ooh, speaking of the letter P.
Yeah, I want to say like popping something. You know what I mean? Like I'm popping, or pushing, or.
Yeah, that would have to be like the after hours bar. Like, pop that pussy. You know, like
exactly. Yeah. Like once we have tons of bars, like that's like the nasty filth one that we can go to like at the very end of the night where it's like, you know, it's like all graffiti in the bathroom. It's like, you know, you just like feel sticky touching the bar. Yeah.
Like, oh, this is where they popped that pussy last night.
Yeah. Like I gotta get some like wet wipes out. Like,
that's when you take that little portable hand sanitizer that you've learned to take around during COVID and just put on your hands and this. Need to clean this up. All right, Q. Ooh, Q.
Because we can do so much with queer. You know what I mean? It's got to be queer something, or queers are here. You know.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah. Wow, I had a double awakening there. Queers are here. I love it.
Yeah, right to the point.
Yeah, like almost like that arrow, and then they would have like that arrow, you know, like in the bathroom stall, like so and so was here.
Yes,
queers are here.
It would be cute. I feel like this bar would be like nice. You'd be like, let's go to Queers Are Here. We always have a nice time, you know.
Let's do brunch at Queers Are Here.
Yes.
And they call it qua just to, you know, QUH, like just to like abbreviate it.
Absolutely.
Let's do qua for brunch. all the lesbian dyke favorites. Just
yes. I mean, now I want to go to all these places is the problem. Now I'm like imagining them and like,
yes. I love it. All right, we got R.
R. Ooh.
Let's see.
I want to say like rough and something, like rough and tumble, rough and kinky.
Yeah,
rough
I was thinking the same thing when you said rough.
Yeah.
Rough and tumble. Yeah.
That's a nice one.
Tumble. I like that. Rough and tumble. Let's see.
S. Like satisfaction? Like,
I like that. Welcome to satisfaction.
Yeah. Like, I feel good in satisfaction.
Yeah. That's a lot of pressure though. Just like, fuck, they got to leave satisfied every time.
Yeah, that's true. That would be like Yelp trolls or get a hold of that. Yeah, it's true.
I was just thinking that the Yelp reviews, this was a least from Satisfactory. For a bar named Satisfaction, it was below Satisfactory. Let's see. T.
Because like I want to almost call it like the tea, like the tea bar, like because like spilling the tea, I think is like such like a queer idea and element. Like it would have to be like tables, and then it's just like it's the tea. You know, like we're going to the tea, we're going to talk. You know, we're going to you know. It wouldn't be a dance club. It would have to be like a sit down bar to just talk tea. You know.
Talk tea. Ooh, what about talk tea?
Yeah, talk tea. I like it.
Ooh, talk tea. Ooh. Ooh. Talk tea. or I mean, we just did an episode about this with toxic masculinity.
Oh God. That actually would be hilarious. Because you'd have all these toxic masculine guys. Like this is what would happen. Like all these dudes would like mansplain everyone at the bar, and you'd be like, "Go away!"
Right? Exactly.
You know?
Did you read the sign on the bar?
Yeah. It's just God. Yeah. Absolutely.
We'll put toxic masculinity on the side.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh goodness. Let's see. You.
Ew. All right. Undress? Is that too apparent? Is that too clothing?
That. Undress.
Undress.
Undress the mask.
Ooh.
I could be poetic with that shit. Undress that mask. I love it. V.
Ooh. V is a good one because you have so many great V words that are like velvet, voluptuous, Venus, you know, like, you know, I feel like V is like the Dyke letter. I don't know. Yeah. There's so many good V words. Oh. You know?
You know, it was funny. When I was thinking of V, I was thinking about what I just read, and vulva came to mind.
Yeah, that too. I think there actually used to be a Dyke bar named Vulva, if I'm not mistaken, but I'll have to check that.
Was there really?
Double check. Yeah, I feel like any sort of like female anatomy, like it's probably been a Dyke bar name at some point. Like,
I love this. I love it. Okay, so voluptuous vulva, voluptuous that sounds like a.
Yeah, voluptuous vulva Venus. Yeah, we're going triple V.
Yeah. Ooh, yes. You're gonna go to triple V tonight?
Ooh,
there you go. Ooh, yeah, voluptuous vulva Venus. Or Venus's voluptuous vulva.
Oh, that's way better. Yes, that's way better.
Yes, I love it. W.
Ooh, W. I want to be like work it or something, or like maybe that's too simple, but like I don't know, like work it queers, like
work it. Yeah,
yeah. You know, like it would be club scene. You know,
but we can do work it like with the E, like W.
Yes.
E.
Yeah,
kind of like work, twerk it.
Yes,
work it. Twerk it and work it.
That bar would make so much money. It would just, just have so many people and make so much money. Yeah, make work it. Whoever's watching, make work it. Do it.
Yes, please make it. Ooh, X. Ooh.
See, there's a bar in DC called XX Plus. That's like a queer bar, and that was the first that came to my mind. That it would have to be like, oh man, I'm thinking like Gen X. Or something similar to see XX Plus already took it, so I feel like I gotta drink to that. It's hard to make an X name, right? You know, it's just so hard. You know, or it could be like excitement with like an X or something. You know, like something
I like that. I feel like there's a sex shop down the store that's called Excitement, but I don't think they spell it this way. So this works. I like this excitement.
Yeah,
I like it. Why?
Ooh. Oh.
Why? Yeah. Ooh. I was thinking about yearning, but the yearning, but
yeah. Or even like yearn. It's kind of hot. It's like, yo, I yearn for you. Like, we're going to yearn. Yearn. I feel like yearn is like where you take a Tinder date. Like it's like you're there. It's like a little bit nicer, but at the same time, you don't want to be there like all the time. But you're like, this is where we can be right now. Yeah.
Yes. That's where you know, like this is the spot for all my Tinder dates. This is the hit it and quit it kind of. That would be another one that would get a lot of good business.
Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one. I love it. Oh man, Z. Ooh. Oh my god. See, this is another one almost like I want to say like Zelda's. Like I want to say like an old school name might work for this. That sounds kind of butch, like, you know. I feel like there's too many gay male bars called the Zoo. I feel like there was like one in Hong Kong and there was like one in Europe. And I feel like the Zoo is like, no, we're not the Zoo.
Let's be like, original outside of Zoo.
Yeah, like this isn't what we are. We're better than this, you know?
You know, so there was an episode where we were coming up with stripper names, and there was one that was called Zip Tie That Coochie. And so I was thinking, what about the zip tie? Like that would be that like, actually. That would be That's where like that's where all the good sex parties are.
That's so much like what's the vibe of the zip tie? Like I love it because it could just be like so many options, you know? Yes. I feel like it would be, we have this great bar called House of Yes, and like they constantly change the dance floor and like the theme and the vibe, and like they have like people like dancing on the ceiling and like dancing in cages coming down. And I feel like the zip tie would have like the same thing. You walk in, you'd be like, I don't know what to expect. Like, I'm just going to go in here, have a good time. I have no idea how many theatrics are going to happen, but it's going to happen.
Yeah. I like that. Let's do. Yeah, I like that. Zip tie. So an overall of all the names we came up with: asexual being, button ups, cat bar, dikery, exes, fresh and femme, girls just want to have fun, the hookup, invisible femme, juicy, Kit Kat Club 2, Lesbos Island, munchies, nasty non-binary, the big O, pop that pussy, queers are here, rough and tumble, satisfaction, talk tea or toxic masculinity, undress, the triple V, Venus's voluptuous vulva, the triple V, work it, excitement, yearn, and the zip tie.
Oh God, what a list. What a list.
Those are some top-notch names right there. That was.
You have to send that to me. I'm going to like post that on Dyke Beer and be like, who's making all these? There's 26 of you. Go.
Yes, I will definitely send it. Yes. These are the top-notch names of time for bars. Oh gosh, that was
so
amazing.
Much.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming. This has been so dope.
Agreed.
I feel like, we know so much about the Dyke Bar Takeover and Dyke Beer, but we don't know much about you and the folks behind the scenes. What was your our time has come to an end, but I want to make sure that we talk about what was your coming out story? We know about your activism. You've done so much for the community, but what was your coming out story like?
Oh, sure. Loretta probably has their own, but for me, I grew up in Massachusetts. Since I was like a small child, I just knew I was gay, and I came out at 14 even. So I came out in high school, and I feel like it was a time, even in a liberal state, where not a lot of kids were coming out, and you didn't have movies like The Prom or everything that you kind of have now with YA literature to help people who are queer come out. So it was really rough. I came out to my parents. My mom is still weird about it 1,000 years later, and my dad is pretty cool. But yeah, I had a really rough time in high school. And then when I went to college in Boston, I was totally fine. I had really fun at Women's College in Simmons. And so I feel like it was a very open space and really cool. And then I feel like as the years go on, I just get gayer. I now have a company called Dyke Beer. So I just get infinitely gayer. But yeah, I think for anybody just starting to come out, it really is rough at first. And it's hard to find friends and people you understand and navigate the community. And you have to do so much research on your own because your straight parents aren't really going to tell you how this world works. You just kind of have to figure it out as an adult. But yeah, hang in there. But that was my coming out really early. Yeah.
Nice. I mean, what would the Sarah now that's gotten gayer and gayer with time with Dyke Beer, Dyke Bar Takeover, what would you tell 14-year-old Sarah?
Oh God, I would just say you just kind of got to get through high school, and then it's going to get so much better. And high school is going to be terrible, but just try your best, kid, maybe. I feel bad because I definitely wouldn't want to relive that again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. This has been incredible. I really appreciate you taking the time to hang and have some jam-packed shenanigans. We definitely have to do this again. This was
absolutely
so much fun. We'll have to do an after hours because that was,
I'll bring Loretta too next time.
Yes. Loretta, you hear me? I'm looking for you. I'm looking for you.
The other Californian here, needs to come through.
I'm looking for you after hours. Let's do it. I'm excited. Cool.
I'm glad
before we get out of here,
enjoy.
Absolutely. Before we get out of here, we usually end on words of wisdom. what would be the words of wisdom that you leave for the people that are out there listening, watching? What would you tell them?
Don't spend too much energy hating other people. Don't spend too much energy on if people need to be transgender or if people need their human rights. Don't put your energy there. Put your energy in either your own rights, or if you feel like you have all the rights that you want to have, in other people's rights, and listen to them and understand, and don't take over from them, but just try to be supportive. But think about where your energy is placed, and try to place it in a positive place instead of a negative place.
I love that. I think my words of wisdom is going to come from just the great work that y'all have been doing, is just be courageous enough to just follow your heart and to follow the journey, and don't fight it. Just follow who you feel that you're becoming, and stay true to yourself. That's probably my words of wisdom. How can the folks reach you and get in touch with you?
Oh yeah, you can. Love Dyke Beer right now is our website, but we actually are really responsive on Instagram, and we have @Dyke Beer. We also have @Dyke Bar Takeover. So if you're more interested in starting a chapter of that, that's our grassroots stuff is still up. So either one. But with Dyke Beer, if you want any, and you're in New York City, feel free to DM us.
Yes. I was gonna say, I love the new website. Like I love the website. I love it. I love the pictures. It looks great.
Thank you.
Yeah, this has been awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. This has been great conversation,
you so much.
Great facts, great gems that you've dropped on us throughout the entire episode. Y'all, make sure that you check out Jampacked at Jampacked Show. You go to youtube.com/Jampacked. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, you name it, we're there. We're on all streaming platforms. Make sure that you subscribe, follow, like, all that good stuff. Again, thank you so much. This has been really, truly dope.
Same.
And absolutely. And y'all, again, remember, every Wednesday there is a new episode. Wednesday morning. We're not fucking with the afternoon time. Wednesday morning. Make sure you download, subscribe, get your notifications on, all that good stuff, y'all. And we will see you on the next Jam Pack. Gratitude is attitude, y'all.
That's right. Thank you so much.
Peace out, peace out, put them in the air, they gon' rise up. Peace out, peace out, put them in the